show how the audio is because the camera's a little bit of distance away from me here. And the reason I do this is so that it shows up as, oh boy, the camera doesn't like me moving much. You know what you ought to do on the camera end of things, because we're live on YouTube as well right now. We ought to, you ought to hit manual focus now since it's dialed in, hit manual focus, and then it's stuck there. But you got to make sure that it's just right. So it's still good. I'm going to hold dead still. I'm still dead still. Hey, everybody on Instagram, what's up? Yeah, that focus is still okay. It's focused on my beautiful face. Cool. And so now, good deal. Okay, it's good. Okay, Instagram, what's going on? We're here to answer questions, talk, all that stuff. We are. What's the current topic? Brittany's going to be monitoring the comments, so we're going to try that. So she'll be answering your questions and comments. Hi on YouTube again. That thing is still screwing with the focus, but we'll see what's going on. But we're battling some rain here today. So we're rained off of that that tile removal project, which is god awful. I'm getting killed on that man hours wise. Fortunately, there's not a lot of cost involved in that, but I way underestimated it, something terrible. And it's a good reminder. And the way I look at these things it's as if, I look at it as like, okay, this is a small job. It sucks, but it's turned into a bigger job than I wanted it to. But I'm hoping that this is my little wake-up call of when we bid a larger project this summer, that I don't underestimate something or a demolition portion of the project or whatever. And so I constantly pray to my Lord and Savior, and I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean that in all truth and honesty and openness. I constantly pray for gentle reminders for things that will make me a better father, husband, contractor, citizen, American, whatever. And this, I feel, is one of those gentle nudges of like, okay, this is a small job. It's going to take us 60 man hours as opposed to the 30 I anticipated it to take. So that's not cool. But it's a small one. Instead of getting on a job that's, let's say 500 man hours, it ends up being 1,000 man hours. So I thank the Lord for the gentle nudge to remind me to not. In this case, one of the things I did not do was put in any stipulations for. I presumed all this tile that's crushed tile, crushed clay tiles, like a red rock looking stuff they used as mulch on this place years ago. I just presumed it was all going to be a consistent 2 inches thick because that's what a quality company like Almond would do to install it. We wouldn't fill the voids. In places, this stuff is a foot deep. And I just made an assumption, and you know what happens when you assume? It makes an A out of you and me, right? And we're getting just crushed on this thing. And fortunately, we've got machines to do it, so it's not as tedious on the crew. Like I couldn't imagine hand shoveling all this out; that'd been horrible. But again, I am grateful for a gentle nudge, a gentle reminder of like, hey, don't underestimate this on any bigger jobs this summer. And make sure you put stipulations in your contract that allow for this kind of situation, right? And normally I do. Normally I'm pretty good at doing that, and I just didn't on this one. And so we're going to take it in the shorts for the most part.
We have some questions.
Okay, let's get to it.
I am a hardscaper wants to know.
Never heard of him.
If we are no longer mad at each other.
I was never mad, for starters. This is based off of yesterday's Instagram stories. I was never mad at Miss Brittany. She, however, was mad at thee for my shortcomings of her celebration of her birthday and birthday month.
Birthday month?
Yeah, I mean, it might as well be.
Landscape Daddy.
I'm gonna. If this is the direction of the whole show, I'm shutting the damn thing off. I'm not even gonna go down this road again.
Landscape Daddy wants to know what you're doing for my birthday.
What we did for Princess's birthday was we went to Montana and snowmobiled.
That was not for my birthday.
What was it for?
Not for my birthday.
What? See, this is, folks, togetherinthetrades.com. And that's why I go to learn. I don't go there we speak for a little bit, but it's mostly talking about how much I suck at marriage. but I go to listen to the actual speakers there to try to learn something to be better at my marriage. And of course, from Instagram, I'm learning so much about how to be a better husband too. So
unfortunately, you lost in the poll.
my poll said
There were
overwhelmingly the majority was yes, I'm a great husband.
I didn't look to see where you voted.
This is bringing the people no value, by the way.
I didn't look to see where you voted. Where did you vote, honey?
I didn't vote.
You should.
And yeah, by the way, how's audio with Instagram Live? Can somebody,
Everyone
did Hunter
says
say
it's
we're good?
okay.
Okay, thank you. Cool. What's next?
No one wants to know about anything other than if we're mad at each other.
Well, I am not mad. I harbor no resentment or ill will over the situation. Brittany, I will direct that question to you since this is what the people want to hear about, which is absurd. It's how I want to spend the next 40 minutes of the day rehashing old. Why you bring up old stuff? Are you mad or not?
I'm not mad.
Are you resentful?
Disappointed.
Resentment is poison. Well, I'm used to that from women, so that's no big deal.
I am a Hardscaper says, can I send my wife to Together in the Trades? I think I am the perfect husband. So there's that.
Yeah. See, that is definitely a tenet of Together in the Trades. It's you're not the one with the problem, it's your spouse. So most likely, if you have those feelings, you're right. It's not you that's the problem in the relationship. It's your spouse. And you should definitely send them alone.
Sending them alone to a marriage conference. That is definitely.
Isn't that what he said?
For.
Can I send my wife? That's not,
yes.
Can we come
yes.
to Together in Trades?
That's definitely what it is about.
I'm praying for you, Mr. Pelez.
I have a feeling that the Not Our Finest Hour podcast people are really big supporters of you because they keep having comments.
Interesting.
Is Together in the Trades only?
I'll check that podcast out one of these days.
Is Together in the Trades only for swingers, or can anyone go?
There is none of that going on so far as I know.
Oh gosh, okay.
But what you do on your own private time there is none of my business.
You have from 11:30 a.m. until bedtime to do whatever you so choose to do.
Speaking of Together in the Trades, we are over half sold out for that.
We have 10 more couples.
Really? Is that it? Awesome. Yeah. Hey, folks, limited availability. Literally only 20 seats, 10 couples available yet. So, Platts, if you're not coming, better jump on that, buddy. Or get your wife out there a little bit, and then we'll have 19 seats left after that.
All right. Our friend Billy says this is an immense amount of value.
I agree. Speaking of Billy, shredder on the sleds as well. Absolute shredder.
Billy spent my birthday with me.
That is true.
You all are hilarious. Man, oh man, what a fun time.
Yeah, this is gonna be a great 40 minutes.
Okay. So see, no other questions other than
essentially all people want to know about is our marital problems. That's great. I feel like we're a morning cup of Joe show kind of thing or whatever.
So what else is going on?
So I underbid a project this week and we're getting killed on it, and we're scrambling to get some other revenue in this week just to try to make the week not a total freaking loss, which I would say, by the way, is something I always said. I've said for a long time, welcome to contracting, right? And this is one of those hard lessons learned weeks. It's really, really rough. And we're going to go over numbers on this one with the guys just to show what this week looks like, because we've really had some great wins in the past couple of months. We have some projects that went really well. And
last week was
those
hard.
wins cover some of these horrible losses. And that's why it's important that and I tell you, that's part of what I bid this job out of was like, the guys have been really productive. Things have been real good. We've been very productive, hitting man hours real good. And I just assumed this was another one-day home run. And if everything would have been only 2 inches thick, I think still I would have been over on my material calculation, but I still think with our 1550 there, the 750 there. See, the idea was everyone has a machine where there's going to be very little hand labor in this thing. And again, this is that rock tile removal job. And the idea was everyone has a machine. We're very effective, which we are. We literally have moved a god awful amount of material in 2 days, but we still got a lot of tidy up work to do. And we probably won't now. We're getting up like 2 inches of rain over the next 2 days. We probably won't. We'll be lucky to get there back on Monday, which is already setting back a hardscape project we had. So this is the joys of scheduling in the spring. Like we build a schedule. The other funny thing is we finally really built a schedule for the spring, and this is going to be a podcast topic more than anything, but we finally built our schedule. So let me walk that backwards some. my desk is piled. I literally have probably 15 project quotes to get done. And that's a tedious process, as most of you know. And I was really beginning to pull my hair out because this project was somewhat approved, just needs revisions, and you got to take time to go through the revisions. And what I started doing, and essentially the policy moving forward is, I am absolutely happy and excited to work on your project, but here's what we need to do. I need a $1,000 scheduling deposit to know that you're serious about this job. And then I will put you on our schedule a certain week of the month or 2 weeks or, a month of the year, whatever. And that will then prioritize your proposal returning as opposed to these 13 others that I don't know where they're at. And so that's what I'm putting out to folks is like, hey, we know the project is going to be between $10,000 and $20,000 or $10,000 and $15,000 or whatever. So if you know you're going to choose Almond already and you know that's in your budget, and vice versa on that, really, if it's in your budget and you know you're going to choose us, let's go ahead and just get this locked in. So it's in the schedule. So I know what my spring looks like and my upcoming season looks like. And so we're locked in and we're moving forward. And then I can prioritize the estimates of people that are serious. Despite all of the pre-qualifications we do with clients, which we do a lot of pre-qualification before we even get to the actual pricing stage, it still is overwhelming. And we're only in the beginning of March, or the end of March now, which is something Mark Bradley's always preaching. And we use LMN for our bidding software or estimating software, which I highly recommend you use. Promo code Almond, so buy us there, and caveat emptor, buyer beware.
That's not the promo code.
I don't know. Just tell them you've heard us talk about it and you commit to it and you use it and all that stuff. But I don't even know where I was going. I freaking lost my train of thought. But not bidding, and I've been preaching this all spring, but not pricing your work right now out of fear. And A, over the economy, and B, over just like, oh wait, we don't have a lot of work booked up or whatever. Don't be just booking up every single job and jobs you wouldn't even normally do just out of fear of not having work for the spring. Because here it is, March 23rd. We're booked 6 weeks at the moment, and the season hasn't even kicked in yet. It's not even warm. The trees here in southeast Ohio, southeast of Columbus, are just starting to bud out. The forsythia has been in bloom a couple weeks. It's just starting to kick in, and the really hot and heavy projects aren't there yet. And so be patient, and you can really, if you stall a little bit, you're going to be able to cherry pick some jobs because you have more availability. And I think that's a big deal.
Okay. When are you picking up the next micro mini?
When do we pick up the next micro mini? We returned that rental unit today, and I asked my rep, like, hey, are you folks interested in selling that machine? Just to see what a price on it might come in as. I priced it through our local dealer, an E10. I can't remember, an E20, which is a Bobcat 2-ton enclosed cab with a thumb, was $41,000 brand new. So I didn't think I was terrible. So someone might say, well, $41K for a brand new machine, that little. Here's the idea.
You should take the cab off, enclosed cab, and the heat. I saw you had heat in there.
So the reason being,
that was like $4,000.
We can argue that in a little bit, but what I'm going to get at with that is, okay, so $40K is a lot for a machine, a little machine at that, right? But what you consider, just the little bit of handwork we did the other day was like incredible, moving all this material. But then also the idea, like even one of the guys like, dude, we could drive that around and literally dig plant holes with it. Yeah, that's the point. And it made me so excited to hear that kind of thinking process out of the team. Like it really made me happy. And so that would take the place of your summer high school help that you may pay $15,000 for the summer or whatever, or for 6 months or whatever the heck it is. And that little micro mini takes that place, that work, or is essentially that employee for that summer. But guess what? What that machine should return if it replaces that person is 3 times that amount of money. So you pay for it the first year of labor savings, and then you own it forever is the other thing. And so next year, or you can amortize it out, of course, over 3 or 4 years, but it pays for itself rapidly is what I'm getting at when it saves that much labor. I'm super excited about the micro mini. It's something I realize we have screwed up big time and should have had one 15 years ago.
Who said they wanted a micro mini 3 years ago.
I didn't deny it. It's just higher on my priority list now. I thought a bigger excavator, as you have too, because you did not prioritize a mini over a 4-ton with a tilt rotator on it.
No, I said that I wanted to sell our current excavator, get a micro mini, and get a 6-ton machine. That was like what I have said I wanted to do.
Yeah, you have, and that's true. And either I didn't see the brilliance in that, or the other big debate is like 6-ton versus 4-ton, because we have hauling issues when we go to 6-ton, logistics issues essentially, right? Which Dane Cott and DC Excavation, who are like best friends now because I've talked to him twice, and ran into him at Connex, and we stopped at his shop. We went out sledding out in Montana. That's the only two. But the guy's super nice, really good channel. They do some amazing excavation projects, and they have some amazing machines, by the way, too. All blacked out, tinted windows, really cool looking stuff. That being said, he's like, dude, just go get your CDLs. Because I was saying, like, none of our team has CDLs. It's like pulling teeth to even talk about them getting CDLs. He's like, dude, just go get your own CDLs, do your own mobilization, and it's done. And it's like, yeah, to move a machine to a job once in a week, or, because that's the other thing. We're generally on a job a week and another week and a week. So we'd have 4 mobilizations a month, 8 if you consider 2 fro. And I'm like, and for whatever reason, that really clicked with me. It's like, yeah, I guess I'd just be best off go take 3 days at a school, I think in West Virginia, that does a 3-day CDL school, and come out of there with my CDLs, because that's what we'd have to haul a 6-ton around, I believe. Well, I know we would. So, anyways, that's the discussion there. But a micro mini and a 6-ton, we could get by, I think, hauling a 4-ton around, or a 5-ton for sure. 6-ton, man, it's starting to get pretty big, and I think we'll be a DOT magnet at that point. Is what I worry about. Any comments, questions? People want to hear about our train wreck of a marriage at the moment? What's and hi on YouTube, by the way. Mark of Excellence. That was that.
You just need to get out of your own way.
Who's that? Me?
You.
And that's true to an extent.
See, like, you know what we need. I know what we need, but you always come up with like these little hangups that just prevent the decision from happening.
Yeah, like financing $200,000
Not financing. I'm talking about, you're always hung up on the CDL thing. It's like, just freaking, until we figure it out, just hire to have the thing moved. Until you get your CDLs, just hire the thing to be moved.
Well, again, as much as the problem with that is, as much as we mobilize machines.
But if the machine was as efficient and did as much as you thought it would do, then it would make up for it no matter what.
Maybe, possibly, yeah. But
well, then maybe it's not that great.
Maybe it's not. I don't know. Especially if we're not, because that's the other part of like a tilt rotator, for example.
Well, yeah, that's the machine that we're trying to move here.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, is our guys are not excited about that machine.
But they weren't excited about the micro mini until it got on site either.
Right. But this is a much bigger, that investment's 4 times almost the micro mini. And so that's a different animal to get people excited about. And especially when our 3035 doesn't even go out that much. Like to jobs that it should go out on every daggone job we have, but it doesn't. And so it makes me hesitant to spend $150,000 on a machine that might sit here more than I'd like to, and especially when there's mobilization issues. But I guess in theory, at that point, it's, hey, this machine's going to be on site, put it to work. But again, it will cost. We'll literally could spend $16,000 a year in mobilization if we hire it out, like you're saying. So that's my thing. And again, if you're going to factor that over $1 million worth of sales in a year, really, is it that big a deal? I guess not. So these are just the things I weigh out.
I don't think that you should let little things like that, little decisions like we had on the podcast
about
cleaning the shop. I think there's like just little things that we just don't get out of our.
Well, by the way, guess what hasn't happened?
We never told anyone about it.
Yeah. That's my hesitance. So this is the thing when you run a company together, folks.
This is not a healthy
You can't run it like a dictatorship, which is cool in its own right, but you've got to run this through the whole chain of command here and whatever. So if you listen to our podcast, Kid Contractor podcast, about how to clean our shop out, well, guess what? 45-minute discussion and SOPs and all that stuff was settled. Guess what hasn't happened?
I wrote the SOP.
None of it's been acted on. So there you go. Go finance that sucker tonight. I don't care. Buy everything tonight. Whatever.
Just a kid trying to make it says $16,000 in transport fees. So we would pay a hauling company to haul said excavator to and from, and it's It just varies on whatever they charge.
If we spend, let's say, $400 a week, right? That's $1,600 a month over 10 months. It's $16,000. And so at that point, it makes sense for me to go spend $5,000, get my CDLs. But now I'm taking my time out of the office and doing all this crap to go haul a machine around. So it's this quid pro quo. What do you do? It's this for that. It's whatever. So these are just the things we wrestle with.
Or you find an old guy with CDLs that just wants something to do.
Well, the problem with that is then whose insurance is it on? So that solution is not that easy because, okay, we hired Bob with his deck over trailer and his dually pickup truck to haul our machine down the road. Well, he drives off into a ditch because he's texting and driving and trashes our excavator. Who's on the hook for that?
I don't know.
Well, there are simple solutions and then there are consequences to simple solutions as well. And that would be my counter to that, which that mindset holds me back. And also, I believe, has kept us out of a lot of bull crap. Because a lot of that bull crap other contractors have, and they don't share it on Instagram. So while it may look like everybody's doing real good and not having any of this stuff, a lot of folks don't share that crap. And we will, but this is what I guard against. So you could say I'm somewhat risk adverse, yet I take some really stupid risks at the same time. I'm a mess, folks. Here on the morning coffee cup show.
Edwards Enterprises says
Get LMN
CDL
out there.
is worth every penny, lifetime investment.
What is this again?
Edwards Enterprises.
CDL. Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
I accidentally scrolled out of the feed.
Cool.
And someone must have said something not kind.
Oh, yeah? How do you figure?
Well, Trent says, Terry, why are you hating?
Thank you, Trent, backing us up there.
Terry says, not hating at all, just pointing out the obvious.
I wonder what the obvious is. Probably a few things. There's a lot of things obvious at Almond. Let me tell you that right now.
Brilliant Garden says, I'll never let my CDL expire. Trent says, would you consider doing a mowing crew? No.
Looks at the camera for that. So here's what I would consider on the mowing.
CSC says crap, and more crap.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining.
Thanks for joining us here on the morning show.
I wish you didn't waste your time.
Yeah, it's too bad you wasted your time here, huh? But I bet you stay on anyways.
No,
maybe they're not referring to the show as crap, which one might not argue a lot with that, but nonetheless, thanks for the love.
Okay. Are the phones ringing from I am a hardscaper? I had calls through the winter and now the snow's gone, no calls.
I would say the phones are steady. I don't know. I would say a couple calls a day. I don't know. What would you?
Yeah, I think they're steady. They're not like crazy.
Yeah, we haven't had any like bright, warm, sunny days, which is the funniest dynamic.
But I also think our website needs updated.
It may. And I would say that we haven't had any super bright, warm, sunshiny days. We get one right now where the trees pop and everything. Yeah, the phone will go bananas. It is funny how that works. But yeah, we've gotten some good leads and all that. I think YouTube.
Someone let us know what Terry had to say.
What Terry had to say, our friend
You
Terry.
just want the rotator because your buddy has one. You can't even move your equipment around now or even clean a shop floor. LOL.
Thanks, Terry. So, here's the funny, oh boy, here we go. Thanks, Terry, for the love. I appreciate it. Here's the thing about that. I wonder if Terry has a shop like this. So no. But it's easy to cast stones is what I can say. And yeah, I totally want to keep up with the Joneses. 100%, that's the deal. No, a part of that is true because I see them and what they're doing with it. And by the way, I've got like 5 buddies with tilt rotators. So yeah, I'm definitely
really left out.
I'm really left out. So I really feel alone here. But I see what they do with them. And so that's why I hang out with these dudes, or they let me hang out with them, whatever it is. And I see what they do with them, and I see their companies go to different levels. And that's why I hang out with these people, because they are always next level thinking, which is the kind of people you should hang out with. Don't think Terry and I would be the same kind of people we'd hang out together. Don't think he's looking for next level people to hang out with.
Terry says it takes a broom.
Takes a broom. And that is Terry, our homeboy here. Terry, you're real close to getting blocked, just a heads up. So I don't think you're being too malicious, by the way. But anyways, so this is the thing with Instagram. Like, oh, you're gonna.
Oh man, Calco doesn't have one either. Sad face.
Sad face.
But he says they do look awesome. Maybe he'll get one if you
What
get
are we
one.
talking about? Calco should have one.
The tilt
dude.
rotator?
Yeah. Calco should have one, dude. You follow Calco there. They do, you talk about next level. They do next level concrete work, and they're going to do like $2 or $3 million in business. You 1,000,000% should have a tilt rotator. But yeah, so that's the reason I hang out with, some peers is I want to hang out with them and watch what they're doing because they're doing next level stuff. It's kind of people I like to hang out with. And because I want to elevate, my company to certain levels and all that. And I'd like to think that's reciprocal to an extent. But there definitely is that aspect of it. It's like, yeah, these guys are doing some really good stuff and they're using really cool equipment to do it. And it's like, yeah, we should jump on that bandwagon 100%. That followed by some of the funniest naysayers of people like talking about the shop. It's not broomed. It's not whatever. A couple things like, it's just funny. Like most of those folks don't have a shop like that. And then they also follow up with, well, if I had a shop like that, I'd take care of it. It's like, yeah, would you? I don't know. Because here's the thing. I could broom that shop at night. I could do that. That's true. Spend time away from my family. I could do that at that expense. Should I have one of the guys broom the place? Yeah, we should step up on that, which on the Kid Contractor podcast, we had a 45-minute discussion of how we make sure that happens every day and how that gets delegated out. It just hasn't. I don't know what to tell you. We're running 4 different companies at the moment. Things are wild. And there are things that have ROIs and there are things that don't. And we're focusing on things that have ROI. Doesn't mean we shouldn't keep a clean shop. We absolutely should. So we do need to work on that. But we only have so much time. And there are things that matter and there are things that don't. And, that's a tough one. But I'm trying to not trade things like organizing a toolbox at the expense of an evening with my children that won't be 7 years old forever. So that's why I look at that. I gave up a lot of time last year to build this place at the expense of time with my family. And I'm trying to not do that moving forward. The deal was that I made with the family was that daddy's going to work like an animal and mom too, up till Christmas. And then we're going to hit some goals by Christmas of shop completion. And then we're going to try to get back into a regular routine of what they were used to prior to the shop build, which took 1 year. So that's that.
Terry was told to take a hike.
Who told Terry to take a hike?
J&B, Lana Lindsay.
Not J&B, homeboy.
Terry says you can't take criticism without blogging. Sad.
Wait. But thank you for bringing that up. There's constructive criticism, which is cool, which I get from my peers all the time. And so Terry, I don't know, I can't gauge your tone or whatever. So whatever, we're gonna let it slide. But what I will say is the reason I do block haters on Instagram is because what I consider is folks on my Instagram account and our social accounts as, our equals and our peers, right? And there are people I would hang out with. And so if you're on here talking negative or talking trash, I don't hang out with people like that after hours or during my work day. I delete them from my life. And so the same thing for my social media family. Like if you're on there and you're not adding to the conversation, yeah, I will get you the hell out of here. I don't need that in my life. So I remove those people from my personal life and my social media life. So that's why. If it's constructive criticism all day, I need that. That's 100% true. So that's why, like I said, I'm not going to block you right out here because I don't know your tone and where it comes from in your spirit or your heart or whatever. So whatever. But that guy's, that's too much attention on that right now.
Amanda Linder says, Dave Ramsey always says no one ever erected a statue to a critic.
That's interesting. Well, that's true.
Okay,
we have other for Mal and Lennon, but they put that up for themselves. So.
Okay, we're moving on from this. Okay, how can I manage my obsessive calls? I'm a one-man crew trying to expand, but I need to weed through the bull crap. Good morning.
Obsessive calls. Mr. Harrington, hey man, from YouTube Live there. That's a good question. And so a couple of my buddies do some cool stuff on their voicemails. So you might let calls go to voicemail and you do a screening process there in your voicemail. So Lawn Care Rookie has a cool thing in his voicemail where it's in lawn care, but it's like, hey, we service this, and this neighborhood only. So if you're outside those neighborhoods, we appreciate the call, but we're unable to provide service in any other areas. That weeds out a lot of calls right there. A second thing is like his minimum mow charge. We service those communities only. Our minimum charge is $45 for a mow, trim, and blow or whatever. And that weeds out a lot of crap right there too. If you're looking for a $20 cut, well, you're not going to call them, right? And so they don't even leave voicemail. So you can do that with Hardscaping company of like, hey, we happily serve all of Fairfield County and, whatever. And outside of that, with exception if it's a referral. And so you can weed that out in your voicemail of however you want to craft your business and weed those calls out just like that. I think that's a good way to
put
start
that,
with.
like, list the specific places you want to service on your website and list the specific services you want to. I know a couple people who, if their services like that are still in the landscape and lawn care realm that they don't want to do specifically, they have a referral page on their website with like a phone number to who you call for seeding and who you call for sod and who you call for chemical applications, blah, 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 all people in their area. And I don't know what they did to vet the people that they recommend, but they have a referral list. So it sends you to there. And I think that weeds out a lot of people who call them also.
All right, folks, taking my clothes off. It's time to get the OnlyFans rolling here. Let's go.
In Canada, Mark of Excellence says, in Canada, we can get an A restricted license, which allows you to tow as much weight as you want, as long as it's not air brakes, full size semi, nothing like that there.
I think there's like class Bs and stuff like that, but I don't think I'd have to look that up again. I think most everything here is weight related. So because you can get class Bs and stuff like that, which class B I think it's something like dump truck only and 30,000 plus, then it's trailers. So with us, it's trailer and weight combination. That's our bigger deal here, I believe. And I would just get class A's and be done with it. So.
How are some ways that you guys have improved on time setting up?
On the time setting up.
So I'm assuming on like loading up in the morning, maybe?
Yeah, if you want to elaborate on that, James Harrington on YouTube, his YouTube channel there, James Harrington.
So the best way to get your guys to set up efficiently, which we don't, just for clarification, we don't do all the time. But you have your guys set up at the end of the day. So everyone wants to go home when they get back. And as long as they have the schedule and what they know they need to do for the next day, have them load up their truck, have it prepared. So when they get in, they hop in the truck and they go. There's no sitting around talking around the water cooler. There's no talking about what you did last night. That can all happen in the truck, but you need to have your crews ready to go out the gate first thing in the morning. And just for clarification, we are not great at that. So
yeah, we're still working on refining, which is the mantra, the maxim of 2023 here at Almond HQ is refinement and systemization of the year. So last year it was survive the build. This year it's stabilization, create SOPs, stabilize the company and stuff. Hey, that's neat. So we made you super famous there, James. Thank you. So if you're not so we were able to do this neat headline thing. Oh, that's through our StreamYard. That's a really great app to live stream from.
So it's live on YouTube.
Live on YouTube. We're live on our Almond Landscape YouTube channel. If you don't, we just hit 6,000 subs the other day. So thank you for that, folks. Our goal is to be educational, value-filled, and entertaining there. So we're trying. Let's see here. I'm going to do a whole podcast on the stone tile removal job because there's a lot of lessons learned there in that job. And it's a shame. I already know all the lessons. I had forgotten them, apparently, a few of my basic rules and tenets of demolition and removal jobs.
The biggest lesson is on demo work,
well, it's time and material only. The tough thing is, even if I told them, like, hey, I think this removal is going to be $6,000, and it's like, yeah, hey, actually, it's going to be 12 because we're halfway through it, and guess what? To finish this out, it's going to be $12,000. And as the good businessman part of me would be like, that's the deal. I'm sorry. We don't know that all this is a foot deep in places and stuff like that. Like, that's the way it should be. And I just screwed it up. And in a perfect contracting world, that's how it should be. The reality is, to anybody that's honest with themselves, it goes like that sometimes. Well, we're not going to lose money on a job, but we're going to not do good on it either.
Typically, though, we'll say, we think that because a lot of time we'll demo concrete to put in pavers or something. We don't know how thick it is. We don't know what's like up against the house or.
Yeah, if this were a concrete slab removal, I would have said that. I'd been like, I don't know how thick this concrete is.
It could be, but we always say, it could be $1,000, $5,000. We don't know, but he'll give like a respectable range. And, we're like, it's time material. So even if it comes under this, we'll still bill whatever it is. And this time that just didn't happen. So it's early in the year. Maybe you just forgot.
Well,
when we had big screw-ups,
we haven't done one.
When we had big screw-ups in the old office, like the 5x10 office that we used to have, anytime this would happen, I would take like an index card and post it on the wall. And it was like just reminders of, we do not do this ever, or we only bid this way for this type of project. So maybe I should get those back out. I think they're still on the wall over there.
Maybe.
Okay. Why don't you just get your CDL and get your guys' CDLs and stop letting it hold you back?
We had that discussion with the team 2 years ago, and I about had a mutiny on my hands. The guys don't want to. They're
One guy went and got his.
Yeah, and props to Travis. He actually went out, and big props to Travis. He went and actually started studying and got his temps even. And I was super proud of him for that. That was really cool. He actually really took some initiative there. The other guys were unbelievably hard-headed and reluctant to the idea of it. And I don't know why. I don't know what it would come with more pay.
Well,
and all it's going to be is driving the 4300.
One of the other
trailer.
people that worked for us at the time was not supportive of it either. And I think a lot of it.
Yeah, and we had a cancer in the company at the moment in that specific regard of a mentality against having CDLs, and that spread through the rest of the company as well. And
like it was quoted, landscapers don't need CDLs.
Which is absolute ignorance and absolutely ignorant, because the things that will allow our guys to make more money, because we're kind of on this hinge of like we're plateauing to an extent because our mobilization is not good right now. Like we need to move a handful of big machines more effectively around a site or to a site, or like take the 4300 out with materials on it and an excavator. And now we've got to run 2 trucks that are small and underpowered and underutilizing, I believe, like a lot of our capability and potential. And we've got to enhance those things so that we can be more profitable of a company and pay more to employees. So we've got some hurdles there, I think, to figure out. And especially if DOT ever starts enforcing the rules that are already on the books, as far as like the weight limitations, the whole landscape industry is in trouble as a whole, by the way. And it'll be an interesting hurdle for
Didn't
us.
Didn't they want to do that years ago?
Yeah, they pushed on that years ago, and it overwhelmingly was smushed.
We went to like some town hall meetings or something.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
Okay.
But anyways,
seems like your guys dictate a lot.
Well, and that's yes. And what I would say to that, seems like your guys dictate a lot. They do. But at the same time, we've had guys that have stayed for 20 years and 10 years each, respectively. So we've got 40 years worth of employee experience at the company that allows us to podcast right now and go live and do all this silly stuff while they're out putting work in the ground that I don't have to babysit. I can send out really pretty simple instructions with them. And we good?
Yeah.
What is that about? So we're getting weird imagery here. Can anybody tell me what's going on or comment here what's going on? Maybe it's your phone. Maybe you need to close.
No, it's you.
It's you.
Oh, you were getting a voicemail.
Oh, okay. So let's try to see what that meant there for the live. Okay, we're back. But certified. Yeah. Certified's on watch too. But they do. But have you had employees work for you for 20 years straight? I don't know. Or 10 years each, whatever. So what we don't have is a ton of turnover, and every 2 years having to train new guys. And so, yeah, their opinion is highly valued and sought or listened to, whatever. There are things that they have. Did you lose all those questions and everything? What's going on? I need feedback here.
Okay, well, I'm trying to fix it, so just keep talking.
Well, okay. So what we're really looking for there is like, yeah, our guys are reluctant to some change and stuff, but I really believe too, like we've built a company that they are happy to work at and satisfied with working at. And a lot of times it is tailoring to what they want to do as a career in the landscape industry. Now, there are times that we need to nudge and prod and push and sometimes shove off the cliff to get them to kind of jump into some new mindsets here at the company of the direction we're going as a company. Yes. But I do believe that's how we've kept good employees. And next year, when we look at growth, I think that's going to be part of what allows us to really entice new hires to the company. Of like, we've had guys work for us for a long time, and because it's a good company and we offer benefits and we have good paid time off and vacation policy and family time policies and all that stuff, So yeah, I would say that the employees do get to be a big part of like how we do things with what would I say? In the decision-making process here at the company.
Okay, Edwards Enterprises says it's liability most times with CDLs.
Absolutely.
Police look at you more in depth too, just my experience.
Yeah, so, well, I would, from the liability thing, it's interesting. I wonder what that comment is about because, thank you, Amanda, on the video feedback there. Here's the big thing. If you're running a load that is CDL, if you're running 29,000 pounds, because CDL limits as 26, and you get in a car wreck and you're involved in someone else, and the opposing side, and especially if it's your fault, and the attorneys figure out that you're overweight and no CDLs, you see those billboards in the big cities where I fight big trucks for you and that horse crap, those sleaze bag attorneys. They're coming after you. That's what they're looking for, is contractors that slip up like that, and they're going to sue your ever-loving pants off because you were not compliant with the law, running overweight in CDL category, and they're going to take you to task. And so that's the liability end I see it from on our part. So I'm very, very reluctant there because you see those billboards all over the big cities, and they're looking for a payday. There are a lot of big lake houses built off the backs of people without CDLs.
So
and with CDLs too.
Concerned that if we keep hiring things out, we won't be doing anything. Well, I assure you that is not a concern of mine.
But that would be awesome, and that is the goal. If you're a smart business owner, I believe, is to hire out as much stuff as you possibly can to make your life easier, so you can focus on the things that really matter in the company, like next level visioning and actually maybe getting to spend some time with your family and retire in a civilized manner and not have to work till you're 90 years old because all you paid attention to was working in the field or buying equipment or whatever. So no, that's the idea, is I want to hire out as much stuff as I possibly can. 100%.
It's great to see we're not the only company having hauling issues. In Canada, we need a class 3 to haul even a 3-ton machine.
Yeah, Canada's really strict. And there's parts of the United States that are really strict too, where the DOT, Department of Transportation, I think for you it's Ministry of Transportation or something like that.
I think they've lost sound for some reason. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, go through the questions, make a...
That's it. It just starts saying that we lost sound.
What do you mean that's it?
Like there aren't any more questions.
Okay, we'll shut it off and go back live to close it out, or...
I just ended it. There's only 12 people in the room now.
All right, everybody, thanks. We'll see you. Okay, YouTube live. Hey, we'll come back over, finish up these questions, and call it a day. Let's see, Amanda. At what point did Caleb step out of the field, and was a certain level of sales, or choose to step out sooner? So our big push was, I don't know if there's a certain point we just did or that allowed us to do that, or we just decided that's what we're going to do so we can focus on growing the company to what we wanted it to do. I would say you've got to probably at least be at 500,000 in sales to make financial sense, or with the intent of growing and reducing your paycheck. I don't know. But it's part of just our overall business plan was to always have the company to a point where
it didn't rely on Caleb being in the field.
The company wouldn't fall apart if I got hurt or if I had a family emergency I had to attend to for a few weeks or a month or whatever. I didn't want the company's field production hinging on me. I can take the time, because that time is more flexible, to sell a project, to manage it, to order materials, whatever. I can, if there's a family crisis or whatever, I can take different hours of the day to make that end of my job happen. The field production, not so much, not so flexible. So I never wanted the company to be hinging on me being in the field. I wanted my staff to be able to cover all of those things. So that would be the mindset there, why we did that. So.
Okay. There are tons of retired guys with CDLs who want to work a day or two a week, maybe advertise a CDL job and do your hauling those days.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, Nicholas K. I really like that. I have kicked that around, and that kind of kicks me more into the butt to maybe do that. What we would have to just figure out, I guess the big thing was, if we had a 6-ton machine or something bigger, we just hire that dude to come in for a day and haul it out there with our own machinery, our own trucks, and and
just be a
then
part-time employee.
demobilize it. Yeah, just part-time employee, a couple days a week to help do that kind of stuff for us. So yeah, we'd have to put them on payroll, right? They'd have to be a part-time employee because they couldn't be a subcontractor and still drive our trucks. That's not legal to do.
Which isn't a big deal.
Which isn't a big deal, according to the boss here. She handles all that into stuff. So that's good, a vote thing from her. So yeah, Nicholas, that's a good point. Thank you.
And even if you got your CDLs and we're hauling stuff, we'd still have to have the equipment and trucks and trailers and everything regardless. So
right, true.
We're really just saving your time.
Yeah, 100%, yeah.
Okay. Not our finest hour guys want to come visit the shop, maybe.
Of course, absolutely.
Absolutely, it's too tough for the company to rest on you or any one person.
What's that? I'm sorry.
Amanda says it's too tough for the company to rest on you or any one person.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean,
and I didn't want us to be a slave to the company. I didn't want to be a slave to working for someone else. And I didn't want to be a slave to my own company either. So,
but as Britney Spears says, honey, I'm a slave for you.
Well, that's different. So, our company is by design. Everything we do is by design, not because someone else told us to do that or because someone else is doing it that way. We're running it how we want to run it as we do it.
Yeah, and we'll run it right in the ground if we want it.
To the end of the ground, to the sky, to the moon, wherever we lead it to, it goes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's it.
I
have to go get
once you have CDL and legal equipment, you have nothing to worry about. That's true. Staying in compliance is, you got to stay in compliance of course, but otherwise I would totally agree. Folks, it's 11 o'clock. I think that's it for us. I got bidding to do and other social crap to do here, so we're going to do that. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate it. H, thank you for the feedback there on You Can Hear. I appreciate that. Folks, another fun live. We're going to try to do it every Thursday. H is Hunter.
Yeah.
Thank you, Hunter. Or as Travis called him, Hunty, I think, the other day. Oh. I thought I called him Honey, but I think he said Hunty. I don't know. Folks, we appreciate you joining us here on the live Kid Contractor podcast. Company Cam Studio, battery exhausted. That's not unusual.